All praises to Yahawashi, Bahasham Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how y'all think y'all crying now, right? Just wait, man, right? And this is going to be based on how you had this certain situation that's gone on recently with this highly likely Esau that was sent to the spirit world, man. And how you had all the you had all these people, like there's one video on the internet of this Edomite crying and he's gnashing his teeth about this thing, and I'm just like, man, that where this guy was crying, it's like he never cried in his life and doesn't know how to cry, man, because he wants to be angry, but then he's crying at the same time. He's like leaning his hand into his arm. they really got rid of him in Utah. But then he's angry, gnashing his damn teeth and all that. And it's funny to me. I've laughed at the video, right? And people are just here expecting us to cry and mourn and weep. Oh man, I didn't agree with his views, but like this is just a bit too much for me. Like I didn't agree with his views, but I didn't wish, mate. What are you on about? We want Obadiah 1 and 18 to happen. So we ain't gonna mourn for none of our enemies not being here no more. What are you talking about, man? If you don't believe in the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, to hell with y'all. That's how I feel about it anyway. And the thing is, you people don't like us. You don't want us to be, you claim you want freedom of speech, right? But then at the same time, the people that are laughing about this guy not being around anymore, y'all have got a problem with their speech. That would be freedom of speech, right? For people to be able to mock and laugh at it if they want to. That's freedom of speech, is it not? So you don't want freedom of speech. You want to be able to say what you want to say. And everyone else has to shut their mouth. Nah. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 20 and verse 42. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. And I'm focusing on the last part, man. There's going to be a whole bunch of crying leading up to the end of this society, man. A whole bunch of weeping, wailing, boo-hooing, snot drizzling out of noses. There's going to be a whole bunch of people that thought that they was going to kill the game on the stock market. Then they find out, actually, now you're not going to. They've been winning for so long on the stock market, and they thought, oh, it always gets a down season. It always has a down season. You just got to play the market. You always has a bit of a teetering off moment. And then they thought that they had it set off, and they're going to try and go all in. And it's going to go all in and stay in there, and it's never coming back out. They're never going to hit that sell button with a profit, man. It's going to be going mad. All these people that thought you're going to be on crypto bros and all that, it's going to go bad for y'all too. All you people that thought that you knew and understood the markets. Oh, I'm on the property ladder. Oh, you got to get on the property ladder in this world. Some of your tenants are going to rush you when you try and come and think you're going to move them out the property, man. You think that you can pattern them. I've got 25 properties. Mate, your tenants are not going to be leaving out them houses. You're going to try and think, you ain't going to be able to. I'm just listening to one video back in the day. Well, I say back in the day, like a couple of months ago, and it was this guy that's not alive anymore, Gonzalo Lira, and he's Cuban, and he was talking about a situation where his dad told him that back in Cuba, I believe, that his dad ended up getting offered to purchase a house, right, for a car. They wanted to trade his dad's expensive car or high quality luxury car for a luxury apartment back then, and the dad refused, right? But his dad always kept saying to him that he regrets not doing that, because at the time it would have been easier for them people to get liquid money by selling a car. They would have been able to easily find a buyer for a car to get themselves a large sum of money. Then they would have been able to sell a house, right? And that's what's going to happen when all hell breaks loose, man. People are going to be selling Esau's setting up the Joseph plan, man. What our forefather Joseph did in Egypt thousands of years ago now, right? Like we must be talking like 3, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. What our forefather Joseph did when he made Pharaoh, because of the famine that Joseph was able to, through deciphering dreams, knew that was going to take place. He was able to tell Pharaoh, store up wheat, right? Because the time's going to come where there ain't no wheat and you're going to have abundance of wheat. And through this, you're going to be able to buy people's houses and people's property for food. And that's exactly what took place. And through that process, Pharaoh would have became the top man, the richest man pretty much on the earth at the time, or within that area. But we as Israelites became higher in rank as well through Joseph. But then there came a time when that Pharaoh passed away, and the next Pharaoh that came up didn't know about Joseph and what he did. And then they turned against us, man, which is why we're not supposed to deal with the heathen like that anyway. But that was all done so that we could survive the famine and so that we could get into Egypt in the first place, to fulfill the prophecy that Abraham was told, where we was going to be slaves in a land for 400 years. That's not our land, right? And then we was going to be taken out of that land, right? That's just the process that Yahweh made us go through to end up there. And I like that. I love that story of the Egypt, man, when you actually understand the depth of how it goes back to what Abraham was told, right? And then you understand that all the things that led up in the book of Genesis towards the book of Exodus was all to fulfill that. All the thing that Joseph went through, right, was all to fulfill that prophecy. It's heavy, and it shows that Yahweh got these people in a trick bag, man, because Pharaoh was proud. Pharaoh was proud when he had the Israelites. All them Pharaohs were proud when they had the Israelites in slavery, man. But here's the thing. Y'all, Edomites right now, you've got the Israelites in captivity now, and you're going the same route as Pharaoh. You've been given opportunities to know that we're the Israelites. You know that we are, right? You play that you don't, but you know that we are, and your elites have not said, you know what, let them go. They're not saying let them go. They're trying to get us out now through the ice and all that kind of stuff, but they're not getting us out to go back to where we're supposed to be going, though. They're thinking that, ship them out to Rwanda, ship them out to this place, ship them out to that place. No, make us go back to our land. Y'all might have stood a chance. And if any of you Edomites stumble upon these videos, stumbled upon my videos, which are so hard, would be so hard to find, I guess, Yahweh's going to get you, man. Yahweh Bar Shem Yahawashi is going to get you, you filthy Edomite scumbag. Right? You're not going to win. If you want to just try and keep your kingdom for a bit longer, don't go through this planet you've got of trying to micro CHIP all the people on the earth. Don't go through with your plans of trying to start World War III, right? You better not do World War III, because World War III is the catalyst that brings the Messiah. World War III is not going to be able to take place without ICBMs being shot on the earth, and the end result of World War III is going to be the complete and forever destruction of America. America's never going to be a land or a country that can ever be lived in by humans again after what takes place in World War III. It's not going to be a land that can be inhabited by humans again. It's going to be destroyed. And that is going to be the catalyst that brings forth the Messiah that the world has been so wanting to see. They're so desperate to want. In fact, it's almost, you can say that if ICBM was to be shot on America right now, that would bring Yahawashi, right? That's the catalyst. But the catalyst of Yahawashi coming back requires you Edomites to go forth with your plan of putting in the ICBM, the micro CHIP, which you're gonna do, even though we can warn you and say don't do it. Right? We can say to you, do not do that. But your false prophets that you have are gonna say to you, forget what them Hebrew Israelites are saying. We can do it. All we have to do is make sure we do this, 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 and this, and then we can bring forth this, because we have to do it in order to bring forth the plans that we want. And that's your arrogance, because part of you Edomites' plans is the micro CHIP, but part of Yahweh's plans is the micro CHIP. Yahweh's plans for this micro CHIP, right, are to decipher who does and who does not believe in him. The plan of you Edomites' plan for the micro CHIP is to decipher who does and who don't believe in you. So you see, you both have a similar use for it, right? But the difference is who believes in you don't matter because you're all controlled by the Heavenly Father anyway. And when you finally do go through with that plan, it's over for you. You're going to start to realize your kingdom falling rapidly. Like, just look at how much this kingdom fell and has been shaken up by one low-level Edomite that ain't really even ranked, just running his mouth, right? Basically just a YouTuber. And just look at how the world's lost their mind over him not being alive no more. Look at how much people are crying over that. But then look at how much people are celebrating, and people are trying to keep mentioning about how us so-called black people, as they want to call us, aren't mourning his life being taken away, right? But when have you people ever mourned the Atlantic slave trade, man? You're arrogant about it. You tell us, get over it. You don't deserve no reparations because you never went through it. But you people out there that are crying about this guy getting unalived, you never got unalived. You get over it. His wife and his children should only cry. You all shut your mouths. If you didn't know him personally, don't cry. But then the way how these people tell us is that even though we do and are physically connected to our forefathers and our ancestors, don't moan about the Atlantic. Don't cry. Don't ask for anything because you didn't go for it. You know what I mean? As if when their soldiers in their army die and are unalived, as if they don't give the medal of honor that the soldier would have got given to the wife or to the children that he left behind. But they wouldn't want to give what they're admitting our forefathers do deserve some kind of physical or financial payment. They're admitting that they do, but they're like, but you ain't them, so you ain't getting it. They deserve it, but you don't deserve it because you ain't them. You know what I mean? So they're admitting that they owe, but they're like, but the person that's supposed to come and receive the money ain't alive, so you know what I mean? You ain't getting nothing. Now, even here's what I'm gonna say anyway. So I'm gonna keep it real. You Edomites may as well not even give no reparations, you know, because even if you give the reparations financially, you could give us all 1 trillion in digital currency, and we're all trillionaires now digitally. You're still going through Obadiah 1 and 18. There's not no physical payment. There's not an amount of cheese that you could give us so that we ain't gonna squeak about the kingdom that you have being destroyed. It's gonna happen. So you may as well not give. I understand why you ain't giving reparations because you've already sought out that. Let's go to it. You've already searched out that you're going into captivity. Like you've already sorted out there ain't no repentance for what we did. We have just got to keep going in further and further. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. After what you people did to us, there's not no way you can undo what you did. Right? We're always going to remember it. It's not going to matter what history books you want to try and take it out of. By the time our children reach a certain age, they've already been told what y'all did. You ain't going to be able to ever escape that. It's not going to be able to ever be. The scriptures are clear. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. There's an oral tradition of this stuff, man. We always talk about it, man. That's the biggest thing that we talk about in our race. And y'all Edomites mock it, man. Y'all are very highly disrespectful to it. What you do is like if we was to, when you are complaining about World War I and World War II, if we was to just grab a poppy, throw it on the floor and start heel and toe dance on it, man. It would just start stamping it on it with our feet. That's what you do to the remembrance of our ancestors on a daily basis, man. You mock us all the time. You've been highly disrespectful about the Atlantic slave trade, right? Saying that we don't deserve nothing because of what happened, but you've increased your riches by what your forefathers did. plenty of companies that exist still now were the foundation of those companies was from what took place all those hundreds of years ago. And many things have been increased because of that by the people that didn't oppress, but they've been able to somehow increase themselves financially. But you were saying, oh, the people that was oppressed don't deserve nothing financially. But you could literally just slip yourself on a wet floor in this society, and you due some money. Oh, they didn't put a wet floor sign down. Oh, okay, well, in that case, you're due this and this amount of money. You could be standing by a window and it's a hot day and the window glass breaks and it cuts you, and then you could be due for some money. You know what I mean? Like, y'all ain't real, man. Y'all ain't real, bro. Y'all ain't really honest with what you owe, man. You owe your soul, bro. Let's just be real. And we ain't gonna mourn or cry for the loss of you. We're not gonna mourn or cry the loss of you Edomites, man. Let's get this. We ain't gonna be doing I'm not gonna be crying for you anyway. If any other Hebrew Israelite out there is gonna cry for you, that's up to them. There might be some tears in our eyes when y'all fall, but they're gonna be tears of joy, as far as I can tell. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Right? People are going to look back on you, what you Edomites did, and they're going to be like, man, look at these people now. Because, let me say this as well, man, because I'll be thinking about these things a lot, man. The events that are going to take place in 1,000 years of Esau's captivity towards the Edomites, right, are going to be highly fueled by all the things that are going to take place in Jacob's trouble that Esau is going to do, right? And all the things that he's already done. I'm going to say that again. All the things that are going to happen to Esau in the 1,000 years of captivity that he's going to face, that are going to be justified, by the way, are going to be justifiable by all the things that Esau is going to do in Jacob's trouble, and all the things that Esau has already did. Right? And if you can't understand that, well, don't worry. In time, you will understand. Right? When you actually witness the things that Esau is going to do in Jacob's, like, people are already saying about this thing right now that's took place, that it could be a false flag, and that, oh, maybe they did it to themselves, right? Which, who knows? Like I already said in some videos that I spoke about this, that who knows whether Esau's up to his old tricks again, because that's the kind of people that they are, man. They like that. They're about that kind of trickery and witchcrafty kind of ways, man. They're always one way or the other. They're never balanced, man. They don't fly straight. You know what I mean? But, like, just the fact that they're prepared to do that, that even people believe that they're prepared to do that to their own people suggest that about themselves, shows that if they're prepared to do that to their own, what would they be prepared to do to you then? You understand? And when it's all said and done and people actually witness and see Esau in his base state without the sword, right? Like just picture Esau, like when you go to Isaiah 47, right? It goes into how Esau is gonna let's go to it. Let's go to it, man. Because we have to use this Bible to break down our enemy, man, and to really just look at him and address him for what he actually is. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. The virgin daughter of Babylon are the Edomites. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. Once Esau's lost his throne, right, meaning that he's lost his kingdom, that means that he's also lost all the things that he was able to do with his kingdom. One of the things that Esau was able to do in his kingdom in this world was he was able to change his apparel, right? He was able to put on that suit and tie. An Edomite with a suit and tie on in this society is unstoppable, man. Right? An Edomite in this world with a suit and tie and a clean shave, they're unstoppable, man. And some of them Pinocchio shoes, they're killing it, mate. They're gonna get way more respect than you if you walk in a place with the same outfit. Right? A suit and a tie, and oh man, don't even give him a briefcase, because then you know he's killing it. There don't even have to be nothing in the briefcase. Give an Edomite a suit and a tie and a clean shave and a briefcase, right? And then if you give him an English accent, a London one in particular, oh man, they're gonna think he's a royal out here. Then if you give him blue eyes as well, oh boy, it's over. Then if you give him blonde hair, oh mate, you may as well bend the knee now. For this guy in the world, people are gonna just be bending the knee. And then if he's a bit tall, like 6'2", not too tall, too lanky, like 6'2", the world worships that image. They're gonna get respected anywhere they go. If they get a restaurant and they ain't got a booking, oh, he's got a booking. Don't worry, we'll get a seat ready for you. Oh, but that was my booking time. Shut up. This is his booking time. Don't you know this is a king of Esau right now? But Esau is not gonna have that because he's gonna lose his throne and he's gonna lose all the things that came with it. Now, I believe in Daniel the 7th chapter, it goes into how the greatness of the kingdom he says the greatness of the kingdom shall be given to the people of the saints and the Most High. I think it's words it like that, man. Yeah, it does. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. To have the kingdom is a greatness, man. All the great things that you can do, like you get access to beautiful women. You get access to the might of men. Men will want to join an army if you set one up, right? You get access to the minds of men, the wisdom of men. Oh, they've got inventions and ideas that they want. And through the power that you have of having a kingdom, they can bring forth their creations, right? They can bring forth their creations by you giving them funding. Or they might have wanted to make this or that. Okay, I've wanted to make this plumbing system. Okay, try it. Here's all the funding you need. That's the greatness of the kingdom, man. Like all you brothers out there, Hebrew Israelites, wherever you are, London, UK, America, just picture the area that you live in, right? Just imagine if you owned the area that you live in right now, wherever it is that you live in the world right now. Just imagine you owned your road. Then imagine you owned, like, if it's like over here in the UK, we do counties, right? Or towns. Just imagine you owned your county, right? Whatever county you live in, whatever town you live in, right? Whatever road, like whatever the biggest part of the small part you live. Just imagine what you would be able to do with that, man. You'd be able to do a lot with it, right? But we're going to have the whole earth, the universe we're going to own. Different Israelites are going to own all of the earth. Whole earth's going to be owned by the Israelites in general, but different Israelites are going to own different parts. So some Israelite might own a place that's got a population of 5,000. Another Israelite, somewhere that's got 10. Another Israelite, somewhere that's got 50, for example. Another Israelite, somewhere that's got 2,000. Another Israelite, some place that's got like 70 million people living in there, man. And Yahawashi is obviously going to own the whole thing because it's his kingdom, right? He's going to share the kingdom with his people. Verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. So Esau right now has got the greatness of the kingdom, but it's going to be given to us, right? But Esau obviously doesn't want to lose that, man. But once he loses his kingdom and he has to sit on the ground and you see him without his throne, without the sword, without his razor blades to shave himself so that he doesn't look like a wild man, right? He's going to be wearing leaves, he's going to be wearing like rags, man. He's going to be dressed like Planet of the Apes characters, right? Like the humans in Planet of the Apes. He's going to not have fragrances. He ain't going to have no Paco Rabanne. He's going to smell like what he really smells like, man, a wild animal, right? His women ain't going to have their things that they have to beautify themselves. They ain't going to have no shampoo and conditioner. Their hair is going to be sticking to their head, wet and slimy, sticking to that scalp, man. His women are going to be trying to throw it to Jake for a shampoo and conditioner and a blow dry of their hair. We ain't gonna want that in some cases, man. We're gonna like, nah, you're staying in the mines, mate. Right? These are the kind of things that's gonna be happening. Just like what happened to us. Anyone wants to get sour and wants to cry. What happened to us though? Right? We through the Bible are thinking every single day about what we want to receive, and we're thinking about the kingdom that we're gonna have. We're thinking about it on a regular. And that thinking about the kingdom that we want to receive is making us be like, okay, you know what? Forget this kingdom, and when it comes time that they try and give me the MOTB, because of the things that I know I want to see, I'm gonna reject this place. There's strength in thinking about a better place than what we're currently in, man. There's strength in that. Verse 4, Isaiah 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. One of the reasons why Esau is called tender and delicate is because he's been given the power and the authority to make men rich. Right? Now, there's a scripture that I really like reading, man. I really like reading this scripture, man, because it really breaks down, and I'm going to go to it. It really breaks down, like, how Esau has been able to win down here right now, man, and I'm going to go to it. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 30, right? It says, the poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. Esau is honored for his riches because people will be like, well, I'm going to try and become rich through dealing with this guy. I don't like him. He's not particularly funny. He gets on my nerves. I really think he's an ugly son of ugly SOB, an ugly POS, right? But if I can just laugh at his dumb jokes, maneuver to not anger him too much to where he's going to come after me with the sword, then I'm going to be able to become rich, right? Okay, them Israelites over there, they've got skill, but their skill, because these are Esau's property right now, I'm not able to use them to make me become rich. So I'm going to have to go to Esau, get the money, and then I'll be able to go and set up something in their neighborhood maybe, so I can become rich that way. But I'm not able to become rich through dealing with these Israelites, so to hell with them. Okay, yeah, they make points and they say things that make sense, but am I able to become rich through them? Nah, to hell with them then. When we are in our kingdom, we're going to be given the authority and the power to make people rich through dealing with us. But unlike Esau society, we're not going to make people rich through becoming wicked. We're going to make people rich through being righteous, right? You're going to become rich in our kingdom through being a righteous individual. Oh, you've been keeping them laws? Okay. Well, you're going to end up transcending and getting a better position in our kingdom. Whereas in Esau society, oh, have you been not keeping them laws of God? Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to set you up or something. I've got a place for you in my kingdom. That's how he deals, right? Verse 31, he that is honored in poverty, like we are right now, how much more in riches? So if you can receive honor when you're broke and you're dusty, right? As people would say, you think you ain't going to receive more honor when you've got money? Of course you are. And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? If you already disliked when you're rich, considering how much people kiss ass when you have money in this world, people are really not going to like you when you ain't got money. Because the only reason why people even stomach being around you in the first place is because you've got money. And that's why women, even when they see guys that are rich, one of the things that they'll use to try and insult a guy is they'll be like, oh, the woman that you think all these women really like you, they're only with you because you've got money. And that's the truth. Like, here's another truth. Like, if a man, right, that's poor is able to get a very, very beautiful woman as a girlfriend, right, or a woman that's actually attractive as a girlfriend in general, she might not have to be no supermodel or nothing like that, or no crazily beautiful woman. Do you think he's going to be able to get a more attractive woman if he became rich, or a less of attractive? Because he'd surely be able to still get the woman that he got when he was not rich. Then he'll also be able to get other women that might have not thought might have not liked him because he didn't have money. They're like, oh yeah, he's not bad looking, but he ain't really got it there. So nah, he's not that good looking, but he's not that bad looking either. But he's not that good looking that I'm gonna excuse that he ain't rich, right? Well, if a man's rich and he's not even able to, when he's rich, get an attractive woman, right, or get any respect from women when he's rich, You think he's going to be able to get respect from them when he's poor? Absolutely not. And now apply that to Esau. Esau right now is only able to get respect from the people because of two things. The first thing being the sword, right? Let's never make mistakes about that. It's because of the sword. The sword is the reason why he's able to manipulate people's minds into agreeing with these ideas. They're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, because they know that that's swords hovering, aimed and ready to start chopping them down, man. Right? And money. But the money is not enough, because eventually people are going to destroy the main hub of the main millionaire maker in the world, which is America. That is going to be destroyed, man. Prophecy states that. Right? Not me, not any other Hebrew Israelite out there that we decided that this is what's going to take place. No, Yahweh is going to destroy Babylon the Great, which is America. It's not because I'm saying it. The spiritual deciphering of Revelation 18, everywhere that it says Babylon the Great, I put the word America in there, and you will have an understanding of that prophecy. Now let's go to it. Right? Let's go to Revelation 18. And just imagine, I'm going to read it, right? But I'm going to read it as it says here. But then afterwards, I'm going to read it and I'm going to replace Babylon the Great with America, with the word America, right? Revelation chapter 18 and verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and all the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which ye have filled, fill to her double. Right now, let me jump down to verse 10 as well. Standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. And I'm going to find anywhere else that it says Babylon. And I'm going to, okay, don't say Babylon nowhere else. But now, I'm going to read the same verse again. I'm going to use, instead of saying Babylon, I'm going to say America, right? And tell me that this don't fit. Right? Revelation chapter 18 and verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, America, the great, is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she have rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. How much she have glorified herself. Has not America glorified itself and lived deliciously? Has not America lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Didn't America say through the voice of the current president, don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're going to be feeling real good after being told, oh, you ain't feeling it right now, but you're going to feel the influence of what Russia's doing. Didn't he get told, don't tell me how I'm going to feel? You ain't holding no cards. We're going to feel really good. We're going to feel fine. That's them saying, I'm no widow and I'm going to see no sorrow. Don't tell us how we're going to feel. We ain't going to feel nothing. Right? Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her, and Yahweh is strong, man. Through just taking out one low-level Edomite, he shook up this whole world, man. From one Edomite that's basically just a high-level YouTuber. He weren't really crazy ranked as far as my knowledge goes, right? He weren't really, you know what I mean? He weren't no elected person or nothing like that. He weren't in no, you know what I mean? Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, have not the different rulers of these different nations lived deliciously with America and committed fornication with it? Have they not did that? Have they not got all kind of contracts and all bowing down to the American dollar? And lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. If America got destroyed by fire, would not all the people of the earth mourn? Y'all think that people are mourning bad for this guy that got unalive recently? No, when America falls, people are gonna really be crying, man. Especially these Edomites, because they're gonna know instantly anyway that that has caused their whole kingdom to fall. America's the whole thing. This is what you Edomites don't get, man. I can warn you right now. You're still gonna do it anyway. Do not go through with your plans on you trying to make America fall and then build back and all that. Because you know what I mean. Don't try and think you're gonna be no phoenix rising out of the ashes and none of this BS. No, don't waste your breath. Keep it going, because America has been a spiritual, like a damn spiritual talisman over the whole earth, a spiritual stronghold, man, that's kept the whole earth in captivity. It's been, well, I don't even need to make up no terms. America's been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that's made all the earth drunken. Once America's destroyed, the people are gonna sober up, man, because America's what was keeping these people spiritually drunk. They're drunk, but not with wine. Once America gets destroyed, they're gonna become sober, because all the things that America stood for are gonna fall with America, right? That's gonna break the hold on people's minds when America's destroyed, man. And that's what you Edomites don't get. America has been helping you right now. And let's go to this again, another prophecy, right? America is the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency. America is like the thing that's keeping you Edomites being praised in this world in general, right? Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? Babylon's when you're speaking about where people would want to go for a holiday and what's the best place and all that, Dubai, as much as they're kind of getting their thing now, and you got Riyadh season, all this BS, it's still America, right? It's still America, man. America's still the place people are trying to go. It's still the top. It's still the top spot. It's still the voice of the world. It's still the most influential place. China's trying their thing. Okay, they make nice electric cars. Okay, big deal, right? They're still not the place that people are trying to live. You know what I mean? People ain't trying to move to China to get a better life. There's no Chinese dream. People ain't trying to get the Chinatown dream, the Shanghai dream. They're still believing in the American dream more than anything else. China's trying to fight hard to make their cars be sold in America, because the people in America's the hub that allows people to become rich, remember? I spoke about it earlier. America's the place where people are able to become rich through dealing with. China's not that place, right? China doesn't have that influence. There's more millionaires. If you was to check, I could almost guarantee there've been more millionaires in America than anywhere else. There've been more people that are prepared to buy these not necessary luxury items in America than they would be prepared to buy them anywhere else in the world. America's that kind of place, man. Verse 19 again. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency. Now, the Chaldees, when I've looked it up before, were like the wisest people of Babylon, ancient Babylon, right? But when you understand that this scripture is being applied to Babylon the Great, right? Well, then who would the Chaldees be? The wisest among Esau, right? And America is Babylon the Great, and is the Babylon that's being spoken of in this chapter. So the Chaldees, excellency, would be the wisest people of Esau, all putting their voice and their influence on America to try and show the Edomite way. And if Esau had it his way, after America was destroyed, they'd try and make a new place like America. Like, you have to understand this. I remember doing a video on this, like, it gotta be probably a year ago now. But like, when America was first getting made, there was first in its creation, there was certain Edomites, right, that was saying that America was the new land of Israel, that America was the new Canaan, the new land of Canaan, right? And it was a whole thing going on in antebellum America, the antebellum American South and all that. And it was trying to say, oh, America's the new Canaan. They was trying to put on the American dollar Moses, splitting the Red Sea, but they ended up not doing that on there as the American Great Seal, and it ended up being the pyramid that we all know and see on there, man. Right? The seal, the Great Seal, is a pyramid showing and representing that that's actually the new Egypt, man. Whereas they had it in their mind, no, America's the new Israel. No, it's not. Right? Israel's still exactly where it's always been. Verse 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, which among all the kingdoms that exist right now, America is still the place where people are trying to go, which is why it's the glory of kingdoms. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency. America is the place that gives Esau, who are the Chaldees, right? That's the place that gives them the most glory. It's their most beautified place. Shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It's going to be completely destroyed, man. America's the top place that represents Esau's wisdom, right? All the technology comes through there. All the best of the best flows through America. The best of what Esau can do is shown in America, man. Right? In all things. Maybe the only thing maybe not is in the ICBM. But the best of what Esau can do within even the ICBMs is going to be shown in America, if you understand prophecy. The best of what an ICBM can do is going to be shown on America, because the best ICBMs are going to be used on America. So it's all related, man. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. There ain't going to be no people living in there, man. There ain't going to be no, oh, America's just always a land that people are fighting over and have just been trying to get that land for years. Everyone's always fighting over that land. No, neither is it going to be Israel that's going to be a land that people are just fighting over all the time, because we're going to get it back forever after that. We're going to get the land back forever. Like, there's many things I want to say in this video. I'm going to say this one quickly as well. This point. If you want to know what prophecy the small hats fulfilled in 1948, right? Read Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, the first 7 verses, man. That's the prophecy that they fulfilled. They didn't fulfill returning to the land as actually being the Israelites. They fulfilled stealing the land as the Idumeans, right? And these are all things that you people can't handle, man. You'll be prepared for a mouse or a rat to be an Israelite before you be prepared to believe that we are. But we are, though. We are the Israelites. There's nothing you can do about it. You can shake your hand at the sun. You can try and shoot an ICBM at the moon. You can try and say whatever you want to say. We're the Israelites, and we're naturally fulfilling what the Israelites are supposed to do. We're naturally doing it. We ain't having to force it. It's just naturally occurring. It's a naturally occurring process that we are, in fact, the Israelites, right? We don't have to beg it to be the Israelites. We're just doing it naturally. Right? Whereas you Edomites have to force yourself to try and even pretend to believe in God, because you know you don't really believe, man. Now, let's get this prophecy as well, man, and how people are going to be crying over America. And I'm just doing this video now, man. I didn't even plan to say all of these things, but I'm gonna just say them, man. Right? Revelation chapter 18 and verse 15, and the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. They're going to be crying. Not because America was such a place that was filled with such moral people, right? Because all the people that did have some kind of morals and were actually good people are going to be taken away from America in them chariots when it gets destroyed, right? They're going to be beamed up in them chariots. Now, I've said in this lesson a couple of times that the ICBMs are a catalyst that's going to bring forth Yahawashi. And what I mean by that is that I might do a separate lesson on this, man. Yahawashi is going to enter into the earth in its worst state that it's ever been in, man. Yahawashi is coming to this world in the midst of violence, right? And let me go to this scripture, and I'm going to try and say the same thing again afterwards after I read this. I'm going to try and say it in like a modernized way, right? I'm going to try and say it in a modernized way after I read it here. Luke chapter 12 and verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. Right? Now, let me get this verse, well, verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? Now, let me try and say this in a modernized way, what it says in Luke 14 and 49, Luke 12 and 49, right? I'm coming to murk man off, yeah? And what kind of damage do you think I'm going to do? Yeah? What kind of damage do you think I'm going to do if when I get here, there's already people letting it off, right? I've come to bring a high level of unalivement to the earth, right? I'm gonna light up, spark up the earth. And what kind of fire am I gonna bring if the earth's already gonna be on fire when I get there, right? How much fire do you think I'm gonna have to bring then for people to even notice the fire that I'm bringing? Now, this is me trying to modernize it for you to understand, man. Right? I'm coming to hurt people on earth when I come here. But what kind of pain do you think I'm gonna bring if when I come here, people are already gonna be, it's gonna already be on fire? I've come to bring a war to the earth, right? But what am I gonna do then if the earth's already gonna be in war when I get there? What am I gonna be bringing then? And one of the analogies that I always like to use when I talk about the scripture is the Royal Rumble from WWE, man. Right? You know, you have the WWE Royal Rumble, and you always have that situation where you might have a lower level wrestler come in there, like a Rey Mysterio. He ain't really that big of a guy. Like, people don't care when he comes in. He comes in the ring, he might get thrown over the top rope after one move. He might just be in the Royal Rumble. Like, maybe not Rey Mysterio actually, because he was kind of popular. But you have some of them wrestlers that they get brought into the Royal Rumble and they get thrown over the top rope after like 10 seconds. But then you have them soundtracks that you hear go off, and you're like, the whole ring stop, man. They always make the certain wrestlers that come into the Royal Rumble and the whole ring stops. They all stop fighting each other and look at who's coming into the ring, and they all start planning like, okay, this guy's serious. We got to all team up together. We have to take this guy out after we throw him over the top rope. Don't worry though, we'll get back to our thing and we'll start fighting each other after we throw him over the top rope. That's how they always do it in WWE. I always found that hilarious, right? Well, that's the kind of way that I can use to explain what's going to happen when Yahawashi comes here. They're all going to be battling each other. And I'm going to get the prophecy, right? They're all going to be battling each other, right? But when they see Yahawashi, they're going to forget the battle that they was doing with each other, and they're going to battle against Yahawashi. Right? Now, let's go to this. I haven't read this for a while, but I like this scripture, man. Like, when I first started to understand this through listening to the elders, apostles, and brothers, a great millstone and that, like, this scripture helped me understand the Bible a lot more, man. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse, let's go to verse, let's go to verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, the angels, right? All the army that's in the heavens right now, that Yahawashi has, that he could have brought down to the earth all those thousands of years ago, 2,000 plus years ago when he was crucified. That's the army that he's going to be coming with now. The same army that he could have summoned to reject himself being crucified, he's going to come with it now, right? And that's why he had the patience to not reject his crucifixion, right? Because he knew that he was going to get the chance to use the army anyway. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So people ain't going to just be bold to look Yahawashi in the eyes, man. They're going to be scared to look him in the eye. Now, I've pictured I've tried to think in my mind, like, how can we see Yahawashi? Like, how is it going to be to see Yahawashi, man? And it's always like a daunting thing on my mind when I think, like, to see him, man. Like, it's heavy, man. That's not no low level thing. He's not of this world, man. There's nothing on this earth that you can compare him to, right? You can't compare him to nothing on this earth. He's not like this. He's not like us even, right? We're Israelites and he's an Israelite, but he's the next phase of what being an Israelite is all about, man. First things were natural. First, you're natural, right? That's what we understand when we read the First Corinthians, the 15th chapter. you start off natural, but then you become spiritual, right? Yahawashi is already in that. He's already in that state, right? Like, what was I gonna say, man? I remember hearing the apostles talking about this the other day, and I was like, man, yeah, man, because they was going into this scripture and it was like speaking about the old corruptible and incorruptible, right? And we couldn't have been born the incorruptible version of being an Israelite first, because then we couldn't have went through all the things that we had to go through to become wise, right? We couldn't have went through all the things that we had to go through to actually understand what the curses feel like. Us actually understanding what the curses feel like to some degree is going to surely make us be more of a understanding leader and an understanding ruler. Let me not even say leader, understanding ruler, an understanding king in the kingdom of heaven when we are ruling over these heathen, man, that are going to be keep breaking the laws. They ain't going to be able to say, oh, you don't know what it's like to be under these curses. Yes, we do. We've been under them we was under them a hell of a long time. We do know what it's like to be under these curses. They ain't going to be able to say we don't understand it. Right? We're going to know. But we couldn't have been born the incorruptible version first. Neither could we have been born the immortal version first, man. We had to be born the worst version first, man. Like the best iPhone the best TV didn't come out first, did it? Like some of us have all got in our house now smart TVs and all these kind of things. But there would have been a time when we had that big heavy TV, man. It looked like a big square box, man. We didn't get the best. We used to have phones that were dead. We didn't get given a phone that's got a video camera on there and all these things. No, we got given the worst version first, right? And then gradually we got upgraded on the phones, right? Where that's what's going to happen with this. We got given our worst body, but then we're going to get given the best body that's immortal, man. Now let me go back to this verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen on him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when he feeleth fire. Now that's what we understand it to be, is laser beams, like heavenly fire, man, like some next level of superpowers that Yahawashi is going to have, right? That we can't even properly put into word what that's going to be, man. But it's going to result in people getting destroyed, right? Verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea, Yahawashi. They're going to be trying to get Yahawashi as he comes to the earth in them chariots from the sky. Right? They're going to be thinking that they're going to be able to take him out. They're going to try their best and fail miserably. Verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it the chariots. But when I would have seen a reasonable place whereout the hill was graven, I could not, because the chariot's going to be so big in the sky that it covers all the places that you can see. Right? So imagine you was underneath it and it's so big that it covers, like, just imagine you're in I don't know, man. Let me think of a city. Well, let me use Birmingham, right? Because like imagine you're in Birmingham and you're in the middle of the city center, right? And you look up in the sky and there's something covering the whole sky over the whole space of the city center that you can see. So then when you look to the left, you still see the thing in the sky. When you look to the right, you still see the thing in the sky. When you look in front of you, you still see where it is in the sky. When you look behind you, you still see it in the sky. There's not no place where you look from underneath of it that you can see the sky above you, right? That's what Ezra was seeing. No matter where he looked from the view that he saw that chariot underneath it, right? He couldn't see where it came out of, right? He wouldn't be able to see. But then just imagine if he was above something, even, and where it's so big that no matter how far you look in front of you or behind or to the side, you still can't see where it begins and ends, man. Just imagine that, like they used to do that kind of thing in cartoons, man. That they have the limousine that like stretches out the whole road, right? That used to be a thing that they're doing movies and stuff like and cartoons and stuff like that sometimes. Like the thing's so big that you can't even see where it begins, man, or where it ends. But that's what Yahawashi's chariot's gonna be like. So how scary is that? Like there's certain if a bee enters into your house, man, there's certain big red bumblebees that I've seen before that they're so loud when they buzz. It sounds like there's a damn helicopter in your house, man. A red bumblebee, and they're maybe like about an inch tall, an inch in size, and an inch in width. And when they buzz, it sounds so loud. It's ridiculous, man. Like you can always tell if there's one of them in your house or like by your window. It just sounds so loud, and that's just a bumblebee. So imagine 10 of those. Never mind like a chariot, man. Like certain even loud vibrational sounds, right? When they vibrate too loud, like it shakes through the body. When a helicopter's above the sky or above your house where you live, it shakes through your body, man. So imagine what the chariots are gonna do. Verse 7, but I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight, because they're gonna see, man, we thought we was doing something out here, but the thing that he's coming to fight us with, we can't even see where it begins. Just imagine that you're getting ready to fight something, and it's right in front of you, right? And you're looking at the person that's getting ready to fight against you for starters, which is going to be Yahawashi, and you're trying to look at where that chariot ends. And you're like, where does this thing end? Like Esau doesn't even have nothing that's like the size that the only thing that exists in Esau's creation right now, right? That even somewhat matches, even close to the human imagination of the kind of size that thing could be, is a boat. To my knowledge, Esau does not have anything the size of a boat that can fly. Esau is not able to make an aircraft carrier that can fly. If Esau had aircraft carrier size vehicles that were aerial, right, then you could somewhat understand, because people, when they explain an aircraft carrier, they explain it as an island that's on water, right? But Yahawashi is going to have like what's going to be considered a planet in the air, man. Yahawashi is pretty much coming to the earth on a moving planet, man. To put it in comparison to what Esau's got. Esau's got moving islands that he can have on water, right? But Yahawashi is coming to the earth with what can be described or comparable to a moving planet, right? When I've heard Apostle Tahar mention the kind of size that he thinks these chariots are going to be, it sounds to those kind of sizes, man, like a planet size, man. That's horrifying. That's a hell of an entrance, man. And then after he's finished using that chariot, where's that chariot going to go? like, where's he going to take that and park that up? Where's he going to park that? You know what I mean? Like, whatever chariot Yahawashi does come to the earth with, where, like, these are just some questions that are kind of fun to think about sometimes, which we don't necessarily need the answers to anyway, but we'll get the answers in the kingdom anyway. But where do you park something like that? If there's a chariot that's even the size that we even think in the scriptures, where do you park that, man? Once you've finished doing all your destruction with it, where do you park that? Where does that go afterwards? It's ridiculous, man. It's horrifying, man. Where do you park such a thing? You see what I mean? Like, it's already hard enough if you got a limousine. Where do you park that? You have to kind of have a set space to park it. Where's Yahawashi going to put his chariot, man? And these are just silly things that you can, well, I say silly things, but these are just things that we don't really need the answer to. But it just makes you admire and want to worship Yahawashi even more, man, and how powerful he is, you know? Verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor head, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, man. Let's carry on going. In fact, verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, there was to be sieved, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. And that's just going into how Esau's going to try it. The rest of the heathen are going to try it, but it's going to go bad for them, right? It's not going to go, they're not going to win. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and it shall come to the astonishment of them that are on the earth, that dwell on the earth, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. Now, what happened with this whole Edomite being unalived situation is that that's already put another barrier between the so-called right and left of Esau, right? And it's also increased their hatred towards us because they're realizing that we ain't just under that complete coon mentality that they want us to be, because we're celebrating them not being alive, whereas they want us to be neutral towards them passing away, but they're never neutral towards us, though. They've always got something to say. The moment that a so-called black man commits a crime, or excuse me, the moment that a so-called black man is unalived in this society, the first thing that these Edomites always want to try and do is look for him to have a criminal record, so that they can be like, oh yeah, of course he deserves to have that happen because he's got a criminal record. He's a criminal. They don't be like, well, is him being unalived actually the judgment for him for the crime he committed? They don't think that. They just think, well, he was a criminal, forget that. Yet their president's got certain questionable things right now about him, but hey. Verse 31, and one shall, no, I read that already. Verse 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man descending. And that's why I always say that the World War III, the Civil War, the fighting between Jake and Esau, Esau and Jake, Esau and Ishmael, Esau and Jake and Ishmael, all these chaotic things that are going to be going on, Civil War, martial law, World War, civil wars, like class wars, all these different battles inwardly between people, right? Yahawashi has come to send fire upon the earth, right? And what kind of fire is Yahawashi going to be bringing then if all of this is going to be going on? Because Yahawashi's entrance into the earth's atmosphere is going to be so vast, and he's going to gain the world's attention. You have to remember, he's going to gain their attention. Excuse me. He's going to gain their attention with a shout. Right? Let me see if I believe it mentions it in this verse somewhere, man. I do believe it mentions it in somewhere in this chapter that they're going to hear his voice. I might be wrong, but okay, here we go. I was reading it. It's in the chain of scriptures that I was reading. Verse 32. And the time shall be when all these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed you before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all people shall hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle which they have one against another. So Yahawashi's roar or shout that it prophesies that he's going to enter into the world in is almost going to be like a battle cry, man. It's almost like there's a spiritual connection in Yahawashi's voice that's like a fighting battle cry call to these heathen that's going to, within their spirit, make them all know, now you got to go and come and fight me now. I watch anime sometimes, right? And there's one anime called Attack on Titan, right? And you have this thing in this anime where the guy like shouts, and if people have like connected to him in any kind of way, they turn into these monster things and all that. But I'm just using it as an example to try and connect how when Yahawashi shouts, right? All the men of war that are connected to being his enemies on earth and allowing him to get the honor of defeating all these people, they're gonna all be forced to come and fight against him, and they're connected to him. Yahawashi is connected to them, and they're connected to him as enemies. And when Yahawashi showed up to this earth, he's gonna shout, and they're gonna be forced to come and try and overcome him with fighting, man. They're going to be forced to. Remember, then the prophecy says that they're going to be scared and yet fight. His voice is going to alert them, all the earth, to his introduction to this earth, man. That's like, they're already going to see the chariot size anyway, but he's going to gather them to him with his roaring shout that he's going to produce on this earth, man. Verse 33, and when all people shall hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. Now, let me get the New Testament prophecy on this part of the Bible as well, man. Because some people don't want to hear the Apocrypha and they'll be like, oh, but you can't find that anywhere else in the Bible. No, we can. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first. So Yahawashi is connected, that shout is gonna be part of the prophecy as well, man. It's gonna shake the world up, man. People don't like hearing loud sounds from the sky, man. That's scary. People don't like to hear that kind of stuff. Like, for something to attack you from ground level is okay, fair enough. For something to attack you from above is way more scary, man, because we can't fly. Right? We can't fly. Let's get this 2 chapter 13 and verse 33. And when all people shall hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest, willing to come and overcome him by fighting. They're going to try and fight Yahawashi, but the shout that Yahawashi is going to do is almost like Yahawashi is through his shout saying, come fight me, man. I'm the one that you've really been wanting to fight. You've been fighting against me for 2,000 years. Since I was crucified, I'm the one you've been wanting to fight, man. Yeah, I'm the one y'all have been wanting to fight. You ain't been wanting to fight against each other. No, I'm the one y'all have been wanting to fight. Come, I'm ready for all of you. Bring all your best. I gave you 2,000 years to prepare. I'm the one that you've been preparing to fight. You knew I was coming back. Come, here it is, man. I gave you 2,000 years to prepare. This is what it is. This is what you've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. Herod tried to take me out when I was a baby, when I was not even 3 years old, right? I want revenge for all the pain and suffering that I experienced on that cross. I'm ready for you. Come. If you want a battle, yeah, here it is, man. And this has got all of this ass what I'm about to give y'all is what he did to my Israelite brothers in Jacob's trouble. Here it is. I'm ready for you. Come, man. They ain't gonna be able to just be like, oh, Yahawashi is just an insignificant competitor in this current situation. No, they're gonna have to be like, forget everything that they might have literally, like, people don't actually, I don't think people actually understand how heavy this is to say. During World War III, Esau is gonna have unalived a hell of a lot of Ishmael. Ishmael is gonna have unalived a hell of a lot of Esau. Moab is gonna have unalived a hell of a lot of Esau. Esau is gonna have unalived a hell of a lot of Moab. Moab is gonna have unalived Ammon. Ammon's gonna have unalived Moab, right? Ham's gonna have been unalived. Ham's gonna have unalived. Esau's gonna have unalived a lot of Esau, and they're gonna let all that go. They're gonna say, okay, we did all that to each other, but forget that now. Let's get him. Right? Okay, you took out 1 million of us here by dropping this one there, dropping this one. Okay, America's just been completely destroyed. Right? Okay, America's gone. All the people that live there are gone. Forget all that right now. We can't even think about that and cry about that right now. Let's get him. Right? Let's get this thing, what we've just seen here. We ain't got the time to be worried about none of that. We need to get him. Right? Take all the weapons, everywhere, all the battle that's took place. Forget all that. Oh, you've got something in China right now? Get it from China and get it to where Yahawashi is. We need to fight him. That's what they're going to be thinking, man. That's crazy. He's come to send fire on the earth. And what's he going to bring if it's already been kindled, man? What kind of fire is he going to bring, man? Like what kind of, like you have to think like World War III and Jacob's Trouble are going to be the worst time on the earth. Yet Yahawashi is bringing worse than that. Yahawashi is going to show a higher level of destruction than what's going to be available and present in Jacob's Trouble, man. What's he bringing? Like how much worse can it get? Well, we're going to find out when Yahawashi shows up, man. And then you have to remember that the elect of the nation of Israel are going to be changed in that time. And then what's going to happen? Because you know that the Yahawashi is going to get his chance to get his anger off. But then the elect of the nation of Israel is going to get their chance to get their anger off too. The so-called winners of World War III are going to have to still fight against Yahawashi anyway. So what's up, man? Whoever you so-called winners of Yahawashi of World War III are going to be, right? Not of Yahawashi. Y'all ain't winning against Yahawashi. The so-called winners of World War III. Are you really winners? Or are you just the first loser? Because you're going to have to fight against Yahawashi. Right? Like, how's that a win? How's that a win, man? That ain't no winning anywhere in any stretch of the imagination I can think of anyway. That's a straight L. Right? Now, there's more things I could have said, but I'm not gonna go to that, man. I just wanted to talk about that for a bit. Go into how we ain't gonna mourn the loss of Babylon, man. And I kind of ended up going into some other things, but I'm gonna end the video there, man. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.